Attendee guidelines. This is a Zoom webinar and all attendees are muted and the cameras are disabled. The attendees can use the Q&A section to ask questions from the panelists. All right. Hello all and good morning. Thanks for taking out time and joining us for this exclusive webinar on how intelligent document processing is helping businesses to derive value from data from a customer's perspective. I am Kalyan Chakravarti and I belong to the marketing department at MOURI Tech. To give you a quick glimpse about MOURI Tech as a company, established in the year 2005, MOURI Tech has evolved into a trusted enterprise solutions partner for many customers from various industries across the globe. With an employee strength of around 3,000 plus global employees and headquartered in Dallas, Texas, innovation powered by emerging technologies like AI, artificial intelligence, artificial reality, and virtual reality, and so on, have always been at the core of our services. And in this regards, the year 2020 stands out as an important one for us. To give you a quick glimpse about our services portfolio, we have a plethora of offerings for our customers, right from enterprise solutions to emerging technologies, software and hardware reselling, ITSMS solutions, consulting and staffing. Coming to our technology partnerships, we are partners with all the leading technology vendors like the IBMs or the Cisco's, the ServiceNow, Salesforce, and Microsoft. Quickly, to talk about the presenters and the speakers of today's webinar, we have Mr. Praveen Kola and Nitin Chopra, who will be the presenter and speaker for today's webinar. To give you a quick introduction about Praveen, Praveen is the VP of artificial intelligence at MOURI Tech, and he's an AI leader who's always focused on creating effective artificial intelligence experiences for the enterprises. And he will also showcase the capabilities of the intelligent document processing AI DCap solution during this session. Coming to Mr. Nitin Chopra, Nitin is our esteemed customer and is the vice president of IT at ATNI International, and is a technology evangelist and a strong advocate for digital transformation with around 20 plus years of experience working with top fortune companies like AT&T, Time Warner, and etc. Okay. Before I hand over the proceedings to the speakers and the presenters of today's webinar, let's go ahead and quickly watch a video on AI DCap capabilities and features.
Data is growing in leaps and bounds every day, every hour, every minute. Data extraction from various document formats is tedious, cumbersome, expensive and error-prone, needing vast investment of time and resources. AI DCap uses artificial intelligence and machine learning to improve document processing efficiency literally in weeks. No matter what the document type, AI DCap can handle it all. Our automation helps improve speed of data entry and sorting by reducing human involvement. Also, increasing the accuracy of data entry, resulting in substantial cost savings, ROI in weeks, not months. How AI DCap is different. Extracted data is validated with master source. Fast and easy setup, intuitive user interface. Seamless integration with your standard data systems. AI DCap is a perfect fit to improve efficiencies of documents data processing, with rapid ROI in weeks. Automate data extraction from any document using AI DCap. Try free for 2 weeks.
Thanks a lot for sitting and watching through the capabilities and the features of AI DCap video. Now I would like to hand over the proceedings to Praveen. Praveen, the stage is all yours. Thanks.
trying to solve with the latest innovation. This is nothing but digitizing the documents that any organization would have. Now, how at MOURI Tech, how we are doing is all about today's topic is. We will also have a demo of the product, what we have, and plus on top of it, we will have a Q&A. Now, the problem that we are trying to solve, the industry started the digital transformation a long time ago. Yet, we had to solve a basic problem, which is digitizing a document. Documents are everywhere in every industry. The most common ones are the ones which are in financial services, manufacturing, healthcare, and many in supply chain. And these documents, processing these documents are really a kind of a challenge even in today's world. And how why it is challenge, right? It is time consuming, prone to errors because a lot of humans involved in taking these documents, whether they are purchase orders, invoices, or some medical forms, if it is a healthcare industry or insurance claims, and a lot of these things has to go and physically type in into the systems, and it is very expensive, heavy, prone to errors, and it is not efficient. This is the problem we are trying to solve, and this is a age-old problem. Now, how the industry have looked at this problem and what happened in the past decade. Um, the industry looked at it and said there is a way to solve this with more humans in the loop and more trained eyes and trained hands to digitize these documents in the faster typing into the systems and having the forms for those systems and so forth. That did not give the automation that is required. There is still the manual process. It's time consuming. Now then RPA came into the picture, robotic process automation, and it brought a lot of I would say advancements in the when it comes to the automation. 50% of the automation has been achieved with RPA, but it is a rule-based system. It someone has to write if then else kind of logics all the time. Now RPA struggles in certain cases because these documents are completely changing. Every time a new document comes or a new template comes, new format comes, someone has to go and keep writing the program to make it, adjusted to that. And the RPA struggles with interpreting the natural language. And also if there is any distortion of the document, it is scan quality or the image quality that shows up. So what is that means is we need a solution with a brain, and that is where artificial intelligence play a major role because of all the innovations that are happening in today's environment. Now we would like to introduce our SaaS product, which is already time tested with our customers, but this is probably some of you are looking at this for first time, and we call it as AI DCap. It's a AI-powered document data extraction where we bring the innovations of machine learning, especially the computer vision techniques and the natural language processing combined with the OCR. Now with that, we are achieving up to 95% of automation. There is a 5% human in the loop. We don't claim it is 100%. And the main thing is it's a SaaS solution. There is nothing has to be implemented, and a major investments has to be made to get this solution up and running. It's a combination of age-old OCR with the advanced machine learning techniques. Now, it is the major benefits that one would see is a precision and the speed and affordable price, and many organizations are taking advantage of it. This technology is only available for some, only for few. Now it is with this AI DCap, we are bringing it to many companies that take advantage of the innovations that are happening here. Now, in a simple world, what is AI DCap looks like? You have the inputs that are coming in various forms and formats into your, in various departments in your organization. They can come in PDFs, images, emails with unstructured data, maybe RPA sending, your workflows are sending some information and so forth. We have a baby brain that is very fresh and understands how to read these documents. Once it is trained, just like a kid going to the school, it understands and it reads just like a human being, and then it will output the information that can be further integrated into corporate ERP systems or document management or any other applications. This is what AI DCap does in a simple format. Now, at very high level, what happens? It captures the information once you ingest the data into the DCAP from the multiple sources. It captures the information and it classifies them, right? Meaning, if you dump invoices, POs, and any other documents, it using image classification techniques, it's understand this is PO, this is invoice, and it clusters the documents. Then it will send those documents in the proper queue so that the invoice queue will be start picking up the invoice details and PO queue start picking up the PO details. That's extraction that happens. Then it validates. If you have a user defined validations, meaning you want to make sure the vendor number is proper, the PO number is proper in your corporate ERP systems, it does those validations, and these validations can be user defined, and then it integrates back into your target systems. So it completes the loop. And it's a continuous learning system. And we brought the learning as a part of the training process, and the AI models are to be trained. And we democratize the whole training process. Generally, this particular making that AI to work, generally the perception is we need to have very advanced data science team with the machine learning high skills team resources to be working on this. But we made it simple that even advanced power users can take the documents and go through these 7 steps, which you will see in a minute in my demo, and create a model and make the model work for your business workflow. We democratize this process. That is the very key aspects of the solution. Now, some of the key features before we start looking at the demo. It's very simple to set up, no templates. We have intuitive UI, enterprise grade monitoring system to see how the models are performing, the AI is performing while it is extracting the data. Multi-language support, it reads and translates 7 languages, mainly to English, but it can support many European languages and also Asia Pacific languages from the Asia Pacific region, such as Chinese, Japanese, even from the Middle East, Arabic is supported. Now it integrates into any software. We have 200 connectors, and the list is growing. It can support to corporate ERP systems such as SAP's cloud-based system like Salesforce and any other systems, so Oracle, EBS, and so forth. It recognizes the handwriting. That is one of the important features nowadays the customers are looking for. It understands the tables in the document, complex tables, checkboxes, radio buttons. It detects them, and it translates into digital format. It's scalable. We are at the moment we are closely processing close to 1 million documents per month. Supporting various customers around the globe. It is scalable, highly scalable. On top of it, without going further details, we also have a few important business focused add-ons, invoice matching. Especially when you have a vendor invoice received, it can match with your POs, purchase orders, and as well as the good receipts if it is a goods invoice. It has the DCap as the add-on, which is a remittance matching. It can reconcile the bank statements with your invoices, the customer invoice, the invoices that you are raising to your customers, and also expense auditing. Some of them are already built in into the AI DCap. So without further ado, I will switch to the solution, the system, the DCap system, and we'll go through some of these important features. I will demonstrate that now. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is our UI, user interface for the DCap. So this is a enterprise grade data capture system, which is running on our cloud. It has access to all the various connectors and as well as various artificial intelligence methods backed up by computer vision and natural language processing. So how do you create a model? How do you make the system to understand your documents? So we created a growing list of simple tags or popular schemas. So invoice is one, for instance. So in order to extract the information, there are various ways to extract the information. So one such is if you have more objects or images, we would use object detection. If you want to classify a document, whether it is invoices or POs, we use image classifications. And if it is a simple document where we want to do OCR using AI methods, we use AI OCR. For the demo purpose, I'm going to take one example here. So I'm creating a model and the system asks minimum 5 files. If it is a simple enough kind of system, all we need is a 5 files to have the training in place, as simple as that. If it is a complex, then we probably need more than 5 files, but the starting is always the 5 files. Now I'm going to pick up few invoices that are um, that I would like to do the training, and then I'm going to upload into the system. When I start next, the system will the the DCap will start looking at these documents and upload. So for the in the best interest of time, we already uploaded a few documents for our purpose, and this is the same documents that I was just showing now. So when we upload all these 5 documents on the left-hand side, this is the annotation part of the tool. You will see all the 5 documents or even more on the left-hand side, whatever is uploaded. Now, the documents that are uploaded, you will see a preview based on where you click. Now, this is a simple invoice, and we can look at this invoice in a closer way, and you can start looking at this and see what is this information that we would like to extract and digitize. In order to do that, we would like to create some tags. So the tags can be any information that you are trying to get from the system. So for instance, I want the invoice number. So I click that and click the tag, and I'm tagging that portion of the document to invoice. And again, this is not a template based, meaning if the invoice number tomorrow for this in particular document changed from right hand side to the somewhere on the left hand side, the system still recognizes it and it brings it that particular tag. Similarly, I keep on increasing my tags, saying that I want more information than what I'm saying. Say, for example, I would like to know the sales order number from this invoice. So sales order number, and I tag it. And we have also ability to deal with complex information. So we have, for instance, there is a table here. Now, this invoice appears to be very simple. I would also show you a complex document in a moment, which has a very, manageable data, right? But sometimes the tables can have 1,000 line items or maybe 500 line items. We have seen crazy invoices or crazy POs with so many line items where some manufacturing industries place an order for so many parts. So those kind of information is challenging to extract nowadays, even using AI. So we introduced the table um, feature where the entire table will be extracted without annotation. That means you are saving hours and hours of labeling process. This is part of the training. And we want to get you up and running as much as possible. So the entire table will be extracted. And then as a post-processing, one could decide what columns are really relevant for your digitization project. And you have probably a complex tables like this or a simple tables and so on and so forth. Now, once this is done, this part of the training or tagging process is done. The document that you are in will have a green checkbox or green tag saying that it is tagged. Again, in the best interest of the time, let me show you a model that we already tagged 100%. Now, what I'm showing you is here, my model section of the tool. That means all your models, that AI models that you have created for your company that is dealing with various documents, can be in one place if you have access to see them. So now I'm going to the invoice, that the same project that I was working on. And actually I am trying to load my documents to make sure these documents are tagged and these documents are available for further processing. So here in this case, sometimes we tag more than 5 documents. That is because you might be requiring more information or more accuracy, I would say. So once the system loads, if you see here, I have so many tags available, and what is that means? I'm getting all this information from these documents. So this is a trained model. So once the labeling is done, you would do a training. Generally, this is how the industry is done. Is you have a skillful team of data scientists, creating these models and manually, ingesting these labels. But we have made it simple. You tag it and you train it right there. Once you train it, this is a trained model. I would go to the analysis part of it. The system will give you a report card saying that, hey, I think I'm 87% there, because there are some tags I'm still learning. So this tag here, it's called total net weight, it only learned 40%. What is that means? We may need to train a little bit more documents to increase the accuracy. But we can still go ahead and test them to see how these models are performing, whether they are ready for the prime time or not. And the testing part is also, we made it very simple. The testers can load their documents, and once they load their documents, they can actually run the model, AI model, on the document they loaded. Say for instance, in this case, I have an invoice which is a similar type of invoice, and what I will be doing is I will be making sure the model that is there is working. So, and again, for the best interest of time, we have run this model, and with the test of this particular document. So you have multiple formats to test, to make the output available from this document. Here in this case, we have a couple of industry standard like JSON format or XML or even CSV. You can be a possibility. Now, once that is done, you will get a result, and the result is in the JSON response, and the data will be coming. The predictions will be coming, and the data that is actually annotated will be coming in the format. Say, for example, the plant. Um, what we have tested was the plant, which is the Beardstown port plant, or the order number. Everything will be, so the teams can validate whether this model is working, and if it is working, the model can be published in the production system through this tool itself. As simple as that. So now we would like to show a process where how the integration works. Now, what we have shown is an output coming from the invoice. Now, if there is a kind of a system that needs to be integrated, in this case, let's say SAP. Now, if SAP needs to be integrated, we have all the integration is available right there within the tool. So for instance, if I go to the testing this document and go to the advanced features of the tool, now what is happening is I got the output from the DCap tool, which is the AI OCR tool, and I got all the information. It looks a little bit cryptic, but all the information is right there. Now, this information, I would like to send it to the corporate ERP system, which is SAP in this case. Now here, in these advanced functions, I can just add the APIs coming from the other systems like SAP or Salesforce or Workday, anything that matters. and simply add it and process it. What is that means? You got the information from the invoice and you're posting that invoice directly into SAP. In the best interest of time, I have we have a video to show that how the interface works. So I'm going to this part where you're just seen. Here, what you're seeing on the screen is we have an output from the DCap tool, and it is going through a bunch of post-processing validations that are, let's say the PO is proper, is exist, where the vendor number is in your master data checks. Any business rules can be implemented here after the data is extracted from the document. Here in this case is an invoice. Now once that is done, certain functions can be turn off, turn on, depends upon the needs. This is a library of functions and this can be user defined. And when you hit the process, this can be also done in bulk in the batch, but this is as a part of integration to see if it is working. The system can actually be tested within the UI itself. Now what it does just now is it ran a UDT, which is a user defined transformation, and then it sent that data to SAP, where SAP came back and said, I created the receipt, invoice receipt successfully. And we can further go and validate in the SAP tool itself, in the SAP transaction, which is the PO transaction, to see that particular document is properly posted. And we have also have ability to post the SAP links here itself. That way, you need not to actually go to SAP as a different screen and check it. The testers and the validators can test it from the output messages and get back to get back to the validation phase. This is the integration with the SAP, one of the important features that we have. And other one I would like to show is some complex documents, right? Which has complex tables, complex checkboxes, radio buttons, and so on and so forth. These documents, are the actual scenarios nowadays, not the simple invoices I was showing. This is one of the medical forms here. And as you see, this form is not as simple as what I showed just now, which is the invoice. This has multiple pages. This has four pages. I can scroll to the pages by these little arrows here. And there's a lot of information. There is checkboxes, there are radio buttons, there are even signatures. Now, in order to address these kind of complex scenarios, we have something called layers. Now, if I want only the text part, I can only look at the text part. If I want the tables, I want the tables. If I want the labels and checkboxes, selection marks. So here, what you're seeing, if I had to do it a little bit bigger, I have these checkboxes. Now, all these checkboxes are given in this part, right? Checkboxes of weights, cages, and and so on and so forth. So the moment I select some, I can tag it. In this case, weight kilograms, and and I can tag to this a particular tag called checkboxes weight cage, and then here we have a special functions to recognize the checkboxes or the value of the checkbox, which is the selection mark. So these both are things are possible in this case. Now, in order to do that, I can trigger the checkboxes, and it can say whether it is selected or unselected. And based on what it is, it will start learning that I need to bring that particular value. Now, similarly, we have there are multiple tables, and all the multiple tables are recognized in one go here. As you see, this is one table, which is a smaller table with a different information. This is a little bit more columns, which is recognized. This is another table, which is also recognized. Now, what we do with the table is we bring the table as it is, and we apply our natural language processing techniques to clean the tables and only extract what we want. Now, we have with that, I also, have a test part of it. So this complex document has been tested with, again, a complex output that is coming in the JSON format. And we can download this particular thing, this JSON, which is the output, and this can be viewed in many places. So for instance, I have a simple JSON output. I'm mainly focusing on the checkboxes here, the selection marks. So this is one of the checkboxes. This is the weight gauges, and it says unselected. And there is another one which is selected. It comes with a state called selected, as simple as that. And you take that and you digitize it, and you make more information out of that particular data. So that is how we extract the checkboxes, and also other information, other complex information that you are just seeing. And now let me go back to um, one more feature that we would like to demonstrate, which is handwriting. Now, handwriting, that can be a signature detection. We are not going to translate a signature into characters, but it detects whether there is a signature or not. But let me show you how the handwriting works. So this is a kind of a document where it has the regular characters, I would say mission typed characters in English, check boxes, and handwritten information, the name, account number, and signature, and the date. And here what we are getting is we would like to know where the box is checked. Um, and we would like to know where the name and everything. So we created some tags, right? One is the name, other one is the account number, another one is the date. Now, likewise, we have a couple of documents. I would say minimum 5 documents that are trained to understand the handwriting, and these are coming from different people, different handwriting, not from the same person. And the system at the time of training itself, it gave a preview that it is started understanding, in this case Alexia Cooper. Now when we tested this with a completely different handwriting document, we got acceptable results. Sorry, I'll just go to here. When this is the information, the one of the documents that has been tested, Mark Wheeler was not part of the training data set. And when we tested it, this is the information that we got. So it understand the results.
Praveen, we don't see your screen.
I think when I started the video, I got the problem. Can you see my screen?
Yes, now.
Yeah. Someone asked me to start the video. I think that was the problem there. So here, what you guys are seeing here is the test of the handwritten document, which is the Mark Wheeler, and this document is not part of the training data set. And we got this information, and the model has went in and got the results. So the tags we trained was the name, which is the Mark Wheeler, the account number, the date. Of course, the date or have spaces. This is the post processing, the natural language. The cleanup will happen, and it put it in the right formats, and so on and so forth. So this is one of the important features that we would like to highlight. Now, going to again another feature, which is a foreign language detection, right? So for the foreign language, let me pick up a document which has not having the characters close to the English, but let me pick up the one in this case, Japanese. So the DCap tool have the ability to, first of all, to recognize Japanese characters. So wherever you see it is recognized, it highlighted as yellow. Now it is also bringing the information in the tabular format. If there are tables, it is detecting it and it is having that information ready. Now what we did, okay, in this case, we are interested in certain data coming from the header, certain data coming from the tables. So we have went and tagged it. So since they are not in English, the use case is we want to have these not only Japanese characters, the values of it, but also the heading of it. That is what we did. Item description and item value, manufacturing description, manufacturing value. So we did this. Now, when we did this, we got the data with the way we tagged. And the second step, important step, is translation. So DCap has the ability to translate. In this case, we are translating from Japanese to English. Now, let's go and see how the translation works. So here we tested a couple of documents with the trained model. So this is the document that has been tested. So it is doing two steps. One, step number one, based on the training that we have given, it is bringing certain tags, so like item number and the model number, service number, and this is the address, the guest or something, that's the address. It is all coming. Now, what is happening here is this particular data is extracted and translated. So we have a translation models that has been added, and once the system tested, it got the manufacturing number. So it converted the tag here with the proper descriptions. If, for instance, this is the probably the address or something, or customer name. So that is what something limited here and created on, and the model number. So this particular tag is the model number. It translated into model number. So here what we are seeing here is we have a combination of extraction and also translation. So that is what exactly we are seeing here as a part of um, this particular use case. Now, finally, I have one more feature that I would like to explain, which is completely based on the images and object detection. The one which is this is the last one. um, Here what we are about to see is engineering diagrams, and these diagrams have a lot of parts and a lot of specifications. So here what we are doing is we are only interested in certain pieces and parts of this diagram, and that is what we have labeled them: the thrust block and the keynotes. The whole idea is to digitize this and put them in a system and do a natural language querying. That means if anybody wants a kind of a pump of 3-inch diameter, it not only brings the part number in the search, it also brings the actual PDF link at the same time, so that you can open the engineering diagram. So this is completely not a just a OCR AI technique. This is object detection, image recognition aspect of the solution here.
Hey
Now,
Praveen,
when I,
sorry to interrupt, but we need to do a quick time check here.
yeah, this is the last one. Yeah, so now once this particular document is tested, when you hit the results, the system recognizes the exact parts of this information. Then we send this to our OCR AI to get the information, more information from those particular images. So totally what we covered was a simple invoice extraction to integration into downstream corporate systems like SAP. And also we also looked at very complex medical documents, or with having checkboxes, radio buttons. We also have seen the documents such as handwritten documents, and also translation, extraction of foreign language and translation. And finally, the one like that you are seeing on the screen, which is having the more diagrams and making sense out of it. Thank you for watching this demo and going through some of the important aspects of DCAP. Over to you, Kalyan.
Thanks a lot, Praveen. Thanks a lot for the deep dive into how the entire AI DCap world works in. So before we go into and hand over the presentation to Nitin Chopra, there will be a quick 30 seconds each poll. There will be two polls which we'll be running, and the polls will be visible on your screens. So each poll will have a 30-second time frame. All you have to do is just click a yes or a no, and we will display the polls accordingly. So I'm going to start the first poll. Okay, so we are nearing the end for the first poll. I'm going to stop the poll and share the results with you. So the first question is, have you ever experienced intelligent data capture solution before? So it is more of a 52 and a 48 kind of a percentage here. So we are under the assumption that most of the audience have already experienced what the intelligent data capture solution is all about. And next, I'm going to have a second poll as well, quickly, and it should be on your screen right now. All right, so we're stopping the second poll also, and I'm sharing the results right now. Okay, so this time around, it is the other way. We have a 59 to a 45. So thanks a lot for participating in the polls. So now we are handing over the webinar to Nitin. Nitin, thanks a lot for joining as a panelist for this webinar. The floor is all yours now.
Thank you, Kalyan. Thank you, Praveen, for teeing me up for for my part of the presentation. So each time Praveen does a demo, I see something new, or I can think of half a dozen new use cases to use the technology. So my name is Nitin Chopra. I'm here to talk about our use case of intelligent automation we used on top of the DCap, the document capture platform, and RPA, robotic process automation at ATN International. So a little bit about ATN. ATN is a 30-year-old publicly traded company based in Beverly, Massachusetts, outside of Boston area. Truly a global holding company, which basically owns and operates a lot of telecommunications assets around the world, in the Caribbean, South America, here in the U.S., mostly in the western part of U.S., serving rural areas. We also have a play into private LTE on the CBRS spectrum, serving business B2B customers, and where we have our most of our revenue is in quad play services, which is basically providing wireless, wireline, broadband, and over the top TV services in various islands around the U.S. So we it's our brand in U.S. Virgin Islands, via in Bermuda. We have OneCom in Guyana, with GTT, Guyana Telephone and Telegraph, and quite a few brands listed on the slide. But we essentially operate those telco functions in those islands or in those countries, and and undergoing a huge digital transformation even prior to the pandemic. And just like I'm sure a lot of you would have the same opinion during pandemic, or with the beginning of that, our stores shut down, employees went home or working from home, a lot of the people, customers working from home, just accelerated our need to get our act further together in serving the customers digitally, um, which is basically where the use case was born. So early in the year, the leadership team, myself, and the business had, pretty much assessed the business need, had a directive to the team to figure out or find out the best winning model to to improve customer experience during the pandemic. That's essentially the overarching use case, and underneath that was things like, we must improve the time to handle digital requests that are coming in through our website or other channels. We must improve the accuracy and timeliness. While all these things are, obvious at any time for any business, let alone during the pandemic, when we know we are the providers of these essential services in those countries, in those islands where people are working from home, kids are going to school from home, to have reliable internet, reliable cell phone signals in their homes or their devices, that we have got to improve the way we serve our customers. That's the overarching, but we can't do that without all the regulatory requirements we have, because all web-based requests must go through a customer identification process, customer identity verification process. What's on the screen there is, just a high level flow of how things worked in the past. Customer request, information is received, a lot of email processing back and forth to get additional information, and eventually the request would be processed. Error prone, low accuracy. Talk about other challenges. Again, a lot of these are challenges during any time, in any business perhaps, but just the it amplifies further during pandemic. Most of our web-based requests were handled manually. There was no automation. The types of customer ID images we would get were blurry. They were uploaded, they were upside down, sideways. We've got multiple IDs that a customer can use: in driver's license, national IDs, passports. Last but not the least, um, a lot of our processes, I've already mentioned, manual in nature, supported by employees that work 8 to 5. Obviously, the customer is not working 8 to 5. They're sending their requests after hours, and we are having to wait for a day, 2, 3, for employees, humans, to get to those emails. Again, not a great scenario when you got people, kids working or studying at home using our broadband internet DSL services. So that's just to set the stage with, the kind of business problem we were trying to solve. We were already on a path, I think Praveen touched on that, on a path to automate some of the email processing using RPA, using UiPath as our RPA engine. It was solving, maybe 50-60% of the problem, which was the processing side of the fence. What it was not solving was the step number one, if you will, of ID validation, which is what that picture kind of depicts on the screen, where everything has to pass through an ID validation, which is where we got some help from Praveen. He kind of showcased some scenarios. Our scenario, our use case was to use computer vision APIs hosted in Azure, uh, to train the models to learn how to read the various forms of IDs that people are submitting. So a lot of time spent in getting that up to a point where once the model started kind of flushing through our IDs, our passports, or templates thereof, um, we were able to essentially end-to-end automate all of those customer requests that were coming in through digital channels to not just automate the back-end processing into some very, very heavyweight telco billing, telco ERP solutions. For those of you who may be familiar with them, they're not the easiest systems to work with, but having this smooth channel of a checkpoint using DCap, which would essentially read an ID like on the screen. Obviously, that's a template. Spit out information around whether it's valid or not, expired or not. Um, Key details from the ID match against the application. Once all the checks and balances are in place, the information would flow through the RPA to for the software bot to actually do the work on the flip side. All near real-time processing, all cloud-based, essentially solving most of the problems that I described earlier. From an error standpoint, getting high degree of accuracy in solving those requests, nearly 90 to 95% success rate. And what that means is kind of two things blended in there. One, the rate, the accuracy at which the computer vision API, the trained AI models were reading our IDs was up to 95%, and the 5% was really, user errors on loading bad, wrong images, if you will, but everything else passed through. And then similar success rates in RPA actually processing the data that came from the computer vision API using the DCap solution to, in the end, process those requests. Using RPA, we certainly automated upwards of 5,000 man hours year to date. This is all generally has happened early part of this year. Talk about customer experience. In the past, they've had to wait for days, weeks, to get simple requests resolved. And we accelerated that to hours, at times minutes, to get the customers what they need, also improving the accuracy upwards of 90%. So in the interest of time, I'll pause there. That's all the prepared remarks I had. We did go to market in about 4 to 6 weeks. I guess it'll depend on each use case, but that's the time it took for us once we got all the important things in place. And Praveen's team helped us get to where we are. So with that, I'll stop. Thank you again for hearing us out. Everybody have a good weekend. I'll roll it back to you, Kalyan.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. Thanks a lot for giving AI DCap the business view. Like how it has been helping business. Specifically AT&I in the last couple of months, and how the ROI was, the other factors and all. Thanks a lot for that. So we are nearing the end of the webinar right now. So we will have a quick Q&A session right now. So Praveen, I see there are a couple of questions for you in the Q&A panel. So if we can quickly go ahead and answer those questions.
Thank you. Let me pick up one question that Vijay is asking. Can we have insight on the product roadmap and scalability? So the product roadmap, the way it stands, we are adding more language support, more translations. And also we are also adding the email integration, meaning the document comes into email, whether it is as an attachment or the email itself has some details, we are adding that. We are also adding the intelligent search. Most of our customers are asking some kind of traceability and trackability. Okay, I got this information for the audit purpose. I want to actually go back to the raw data, raw document that has been given. So entire trackability. And we are doing that with the intelligent search. You can track that. And more monitoring support in the sense, as an enterprise grade solution, we are bringing the complete monitoring support module into the DCap solution. And we are adding more, I would say, more features on the natural language. The system not only reads the simple text, but also understand big text, large notes and everything, and get the meaning out of it. So these are some of the features that are lined up. When it comes to the scalability, we are running this on the cloud. This is a cloud agnostic, and we run on multiple cloud in various regions. So in terms of the scalability, it is kind of having the resources available as and when it is required, and it can scale up or down or out based on the needs. So from the business standpoint, the adding the more use cases is as simple as we showed to the demo. You keep on adding more use cases and expand to the different departments in the company. There is also a few questions for Nitin. Probably Nitin, would you like to take?
Absolutely. I see something about which business function are we using, or other functions that we may expand it to. Today, most of our use cases, like I said in the presentation, also are tailored towards end users, our actual customers that use our services to get them services faster, more accurate fashion. We are certainly starting to have some conversations around two more use cases. One, to make the solution more proactive, meaning give the customer the ability to get information right on the web page. So when they upload documents, give them feedback right there, as opposed to it even going in the pipeline. I think that will help us further reduce the or I guess increase the accuracy level into higher 90% range. That's one area that we're looking to expand this to. I think regarding security, Praveen mentioned all of this is flowing through, at least for us, through Azure. So we're certainly relying on all the Azure security protocols to make sure things are safe and sound there.
Thank you, Nitin. There's one more question, I think, from Paul. How long it will take to implement this solution? How quickly we can see the benefits? Generally, we categorize the type of documents into low, medium, and high complex. The high complex one itself, we have seen entire productionizing depends upon integration piece. You're thinking that's a simple integration. We can have this solution trained and up and running anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks. Or if it is a lower end of the spectrum in terms of the complexity, it can be anywhere from 2 weeks. And if it is at the higher complexity at the other end of the spectrum, it can be up to 6 weeks, where we have seen customer taking the benefit of it. Then you can keep adding more, complexity scenarios, complex integrations to your downstream systems as you expand your portfolio of digitizing your documents.
Okay, thanks Praveen and Nitin for taking out time and answering the attendees question and answer session. Also, we have a giveaway of 2 weeks of free assisted access to the AI DCap with your data. Trust me, people, this is one of the best free giveaways in the recent times when it comes to intelligent data capture and all. So if you are interested, please reach out to the below mentioned contact details. Please reach out to Amit Kulkarni at amitk@mouritech.com. So we have neared the end of the webinar. So we would thank Nitin and Praveen for taking out their valuable time and agreeing to be a part of this webinar. Also, please do follow us on all our social media handles for all the upcoming webinars and other technology bite informations which are related to MOURI Tech as such. Also, there will be a short survey which will pop up right after this webinar. There will be a set of 2 to 3 questions. Again, it is a multiple choice questions which the attendees have to answer. So as soon as you close the webinar, you will see the questions. We would request you to please answer these surveys so that we will better ourselves in the upcoming webinars. Thanks a lot. We wish you a happy Friday and stay safe and stay home. Thanks.
Thank you.